Historically, the first hard freeze of the year occurs on average around Bloomfield on October 1st. The latest arrives on average October 28th near Nebraska City. We talked with Bruce Anderson this week about forage options and sampling and how the first hard freeze of the season affects alfalfa.
Well, there's a couple of things that the freeze tends to do for us, both from haying and grazing standpoints. If we're looking to be grazing that alfalfa, especially maybe grazing it alongside an existing cornstalk field, we want to make sure that we can do that safely to not end up with too many bloat risks and things like that. Typically, a good hard freeze will often make the alfalfa change its overall physiological and chemical makeup so that the bloat risk goes down a great deal. It especially goes down if we start noticing that the plants are starting to yellow a bit, or especially if some of the leaves are starting to dry. That's a good sign that the risk is quite a bit lower under those situations. If we're looking to take a final cutting of hay, the freeze pretty much signals that the plant is not going to be sending too many nutrients more down into that root system, so that we're going to be able to harvest that crop, get it off the field without much risk doing any more damage or reducing its ability to winterize any more fully.
Staying in alfalfa, any chance to get a jump on weeds here?
It's a good time. This is an excellent time to take care of weeds, especially in those fields that may have a history of winter annual weed problems like mustards, pennycress, cheatgrass, or downy brome. From now until the soils freeze is a good time to use some of the dormant season herbicides to control those weeds, so that those fields that have problems with those weeds in the springtime no longer will be a problem next year, and we'll have better yields and especially better quality from that hay.
Probably seen a lot of cattle out on corn stalks already. Is there a management decision or a management time frame that you look at and say, well, maybe I should think about how long I'm going to be able to leave these cattle out here as we look into maybe early next year?
Well, we're going to be certainly looking at just what our total supply is of feedstuffs that we have for the winter. A lot of people are going to be really stretching their feed as far as they can because the drought has certainly shortened some of our harvested feed supplies. Looking at what supply any individual may have, they could have a couple different strategies for use of their corn stalks. If they're trying to stretch it as far as they can, probably their best strategy is to give just little strips of corn stalks at a time, a week, 2 weeks worth at a time. Make sure that the animals use it up fairly effectively before going on to another strip. If they have plenty of corn stalks for the cows, they may give them a larger amount at any one time, let them really pick over the very best parts of the corn stalks, the leaves and husks, and not force them to eat any of the lower quality material. That'll keep the animals in a little bit better condition, probably result in less expense in terms of supplements that they'll need to take care of the animals.
A lot of forages in play, I'm sure, this fall and into this winter. What do you recommend for testing? If people haven't done it yet, what are you looking to test for?
Well, I think we want to be testing just about all those maybe strange forages that we've got out there. A lot of people, because they're trying to get a lot of different forages and come up with a supply, are using things like maybe CRP hay or roadside hay or drought stress corn silage, things that maybe they haven't used very much in the past or might have a lot of variability in terms of the nutrient content. So among the things that I am looking at mostly for testing, certainly anything that has some potential nitrate risk, we want to make sure that we get those nitrates tested for, so we feed these things safely and don't put risks of any livestock losses due to nitrates. Then after that, testing for protein and energy content so that we can use our supplements and our forages most efficiently and economically, because everything's so expensive this year. We don't want to be overfeeding, but we want to make sure that we're still keeping the animals in good condition so they'll produce properly for us.